Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Superman and Lois's Season 2 premiere just finished airing on the CW, and in this video I'm giving you guys a spoiler-filled review. Before we get into it, if you guys are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a new video or I go live. Because I've been covering every single episode of Superman and Lois since the beginning of the first season, and I've absolutely loved the show so far. And episode 1 of Season 2 did not disappoint. And again, I just want to warn you, there will be massive spoilers for the entire episode in this video, so again, you've been warned. But yeah, this episode basically starts off with the ending of the last episode of the last season, but then we have a little bit of a time jump right after the credits roll around, and I'm happy that they did the time jump. I never really expected that. Whenever I had some little theories and predictions for this season, I never really thought of a time jump, but it kind of makes sense in this context because it's this pain that Lois has been living with of not actually meeting, or honestly just like going up to Natalie and trying to confront her fear, I guess, and she has to live with that pain and that suffering the entire time, which just makes her character arc overall just way better. Overall though, this episode was just great in terms of Lois's character. The end of last season, I would honestly say like the last quarter of this season, really focused and honed in on Lois and her arc, and this episode does the same thing. I will say though, I love the Superman action that we did get. We got the Superman action near the beginning of the episode in the like the submarine thing, and I also love how Superman action in this show, it's not too prominent, but when it is prominent, it still plays into the bigger picture. At first when we saw this submarine thing, I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like, he's just going to a submarine, he's coming back, and there's nothing like important. It's not gonna affect the story. They're just throwing it in here to throw it in here. But then it affects his relationship with the DA and the army guy and all that kind of stuff. And then that all leads just one by one, and it keeps increasing tension between these two massive figures in Smallville. I just really think it's interesting how they built up the tension within Superman, and then we have obviously the two other heroes or different versions of Superman, as well as a whole other team that the army has, and this whole divide between Superman, the US, and the rest of the world. I just love this conflict, and I love like geopolitics conflict, and the fact that Superman isn't getting involved in it, but the fact that he's not getting involved makes him even more involved is just so fascinating to me. And overall, again, this whole dynamic between him and the DA is just so good. I also really liked how they used the twins in this episode. Don't remember their names, John and Jonathan, or Jordan and Jonathan. Yes, Jordan and Jonathan. Love how they used them in this episode. There were a few moments where I was like, okay, CW is getting kind of risky here. Like they're going a little crazy, and then they pulled it back. But I really did enjoy those stories. Thought they were very interesting. Honestly, I'm happy with the dynamics that they're going with in this show so far, or at least in this season so far in episode 1, because in the first season, Jordan and Lois, and now it's more of Jordan and Clark and how they're kind of relating to one another just a little bit more. It's nothing too insane, but we also got teased at the end of this episode that Jonathan, I think Jonathan is the curly hair, brown hair kid, and at the end of this episode, we see a teaser for the next episode where he basically says, Dad, I can come with you just to watch your back. So it seems like they're going to get closer and do Superman stuff together, because that was one of my biggest complaints about the last season, is that the Jonathan storyline in the beginning of the season didn't really translate to anything towards the end, and that kind of frustrated me because they spent so much time on it in the beginning when they could have been fleshing out Jordan's character in the beginning as he became more prominent and honestly in general just more important towards the back half of the season. As a whole though, I will say this episode didn't do any like surprising stuff for me, but it just kept up how good it was before, which is still a really big feat in my opinion. Overall, I love Superman and Lois season 1, and so this episode just kept it going, just kept it high, and I really did enjoy it. I'm really excited to see how they play out this Lois storyline, because she literally had all of her, or most of her, like big problem that she started the episode with, it already got resolved. I thought this would be at least a 2 to 3 episode thing, but I feel like at the end of every single episode in the last season, there was at least something getting resolved. I just felt like this was something a little bit too big to get resolved right away, because this is a whole different mindset of Lois, but at the same time, I feel like her acting like a bitch in front of like the rest of her family just would have gotten so annoying, and it honestly just would have ruined the whole dynamic. So I'm kind of happy they got out of the way, but at the same time, I felt like they definitely could have dragged it on, and they could have still definitely kept it interesting. Now, one last thing I wanted to mention before the video is over is the Lang family and their storyline with, I think Sarah Lang is the mom, and how she's helping someone run for mayor or something like that. That storyline is cool. I definitely feel like it's going to lead into something bigger down the line with the military, and also Sarah is acting a little bit iffy right now. feel kind of bad for Jonathan, but we'll see where that whole romance goes. We had little high school moments with the football, and then we had the date that Sarah and Jonathan went on. And overall, it was just a great episode because it balanced out every single aspect, and it still managed to close off a massive story point for Lois. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for this spoiler review of Superman and Lois episode 1. Expect new episode reviews every single week. They'll all be spoiler reviews, by the way, and they'll all be compiled into one playlist. So if you miss a week, you can go back to the playlist and just check it out. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for this video. Let me know what you thought of the premiere for season 2 of Superman and Lois in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.